You guys, we are 2/3 of the way through the year. Are you on track? We're going to talk about that today, so stay tuned. Welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey toward publication. My name is Jennifer Carl Tong, and I write historical Christian romance.
Hi, I'm Christina Catane, and I write Christian fantasy.
I'm Jamie Hirschberger, and I write short fiction under the pen name J. Arnicles.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone out there that is with us live. We appreciate you all here. A Purpose Behind the Pen is here already. Good morning to her. Catherine Carroll is as well. Good morning, Catherine. Jason Marsh. Hello, Jason. We all love Jason. We know Jason on a personal level, so it's so fun to see him in here as well. So not that we don't know everybody else too. I feel like everyone has become our friends on here. Like, especially those that are our Patreon supporters. They've become good friends. And so we're going to talk about Patreon and that kind of stuff in a little bit. But if you are listening to this as a podcast, we really appreciate you too. Please like and subscribe wherever you listen, because it helps us. But I also want to say something else. This is kind of, I was going to save this for later, but I feel like I'm going to say it right now. We're almost at our 300th episode, ladies, meaning next week is our 300th episode. And we've got some big things, people.
Huge.
But one of the things that we would like to do is we would like to get our numbers up, because we want to reach more Christian writers. We want to have a bigger platform, and our hands are kind of tied on YouTube until we get to 1,000 subscribers. Now, I've looked at all different ways of doing it. There's different people with theories, but here I am. I'm begging you. If you are listening, if you are listening to this as a podcast and you like what we do, would you please go on over to YouTube and follow us on YouTube? And here's why. You might say to yourself, I never watch you on YouTube. Why would I do that? Well, YouTube is the one way that we feel that we are going to be able to sustain this podcast, because it is a ministry for us. But let's be honest, it costs us money. And we want to get to the point where we can at least float it, where we can there can be some money coming in to help support the plans that we have for the future for this podcast. So if you would, please go on over and like this and subscribe to it on YouTube. If you're already a subscriber, please tell all your friends and ask them to come subscribe as well. My goal is to get to 1,000. This is crazy, but I know God could do it. I know we can. I want to get to 1,000 by the end of the year.
You know, you could go in and you could just create 100 Gmail accounts, and you could just like us under all of them. Follow us.
Or you could spend that time writing your book. It's one or the other, right? But I mean, we have 4 months.
You're not going to write your book. That's just something to fill the time.
If you're looking for something to keep you from doing the work, yeah.
I'm going to do a whole series on what I did today instead of writing, and then just do a whole video series on that, because it can be comical at times. Anyway, we appreciate y'all being here. We appreciate the support that you all have given us. So back onto the show. The first thing we do every episode is our What's Up, where we share with each other. We talk about what's going on in our lives. And Tina, I'm going to start with you. What's up?
What's up? Well, I did a lot of things this week except for writing. I took my granddaughter to the dentist. That was traumatic. She was not happy. She had to get a tooth pulled and a cavity filled, and she was not happy. And when my kids were little, they used to I would go back with them, but then they would send me out when it was time to do the work, because kids tend to cooperate. This is what they said. Kids tended to not whine as much and be as scared if their parents weren't in the room.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't let me leave.
You didn't want to stay?
I had to stay there and hear the drill. And all that stuff. And I don't know. I was feeling for the little girl. I took her to Wendy's and I got her a Frosty and all kinds of stuff afterwards.
I would have too. Hey, I don't mean to jump on your what's up, but I know we talked about this in our meeting and I said, "Oh, I would never." But I started thinking about it later. And so I have older kids as well and about the same, still younger than your kids, but um the place that we used to go to did that. And my son came out. It was taking forever. And I kept asking, like, what's taking so long? And they're like, oh, he's almost done. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, we're talking a long time. And finally he came out and and he was like all packed. And I knew they were going to be pulling a couple teeth. He was all packed up. We get in the car and we're on the way home and he is like mad at me. And I'm like, honey, what is the matter? He's like, can't believe you left me in there. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was not good. Like, I remember, like, it was, and they wouldn't asked for me and they wouldn't let me come in. And they pulled twice as many, like, no, I want to say it was something like 8 teeth. And they told me to. Like, and it was awful. And I had a confrontation with them later and we stopped going there. I totally forgot about that. And like, it's funny how, like, you move on, but yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you were there. I know you don't want to hear it, but I was glad.
I know like I couldn't hold her hand, but I was able to like have my hand on her leg and like be patting her and stuff. But yeah, I'm a little bit of a baby when it comes to the dentist. So
Aw.
it was tough, but yeah, that was like the highlight of my week.
If that's the highlight, oh, Tina, girl, we got to get together.
Like,
and do
I
something
had
fun.
like a really great devotional time this morning, but we ain't got time to get into that.
Oh yeah,
sure we do, because my what's up doesn't exist.
Oh no.
I'm so unprepared with a what's up for today. I don't even know what I would say, to be honest.
Aw.
Oh, I guess I do know. Should I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I went golfing. I know that that's the thing. So look at what Piper Dow says. She said she's been floating around the idea of having a retreat where she invites everyone to come right at her place. And he said, oh, I thought you meant your friends. And she said, I am talking about my friends. You guys are my friends.
We feel the same way. When I talk about people, like, yeah, my friend that lives in New Hampshire, like, it isn't like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the whole point of this podcast, right? Is to build a community.
Yes. And I went golfing. And the reason why I segued is because the Patreon shenanigans level, I told all of them in our group chat. And so sorry, this isn't news for much of you, but my work does like different little clubs. I may or may not want to see if I can get them to start doing a pickleball club. But anyway, the first meeting of the golf club was last week. And so I went and did that. And that was really great. It's very strange because you would never guess to look at me, but I am very much down for like activities and athletic-y type stuff. Like, I would rather go play pickleball than go to a movie. I would rather go play golf than go to a concert. Like, I don't want to just kind of sit and passively absorb entertainment. I want to go and do stuff. And this is just interesting in my journey of figuring out like who I am and what I like. I would have never thought, to be honest, that I'm not someone who likes to sit still. Go sit at the beach. No, I'm walking and exploring tide pools. It's just how I'm wired. And I really appreciate kind of like discovering that about myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great springboard into what I was going to say, because I'm the opposite. I like go to the beach. Everyone's like, woo, the beach. I'm like, yep. I'll pull up my book and I sit back and I'm good the whole day. Like,
yeah,
I'll probably get in the water at some point, but like, I'm very much like when I go to some place, like I want to like just rest, relax. I don't have to like run all over the place unless it's like, like Italy where there's just so much to see. Right. I guess I am that person too, but I'm not someone that you consider athletic. In high school, I was a cheerleader in middle school, but every girl was, because you didn't get cut. We had like 35 girls on the cheer squad. I was one of them. I played basketball from 3rd grade on until I did play in middle school, which is so funny. My friend Carrie, who actually has a son who plays in the NBA right now, she was phenomenal. She went to college on a scholarship. Like, she state champion. Like, she just is amazing. I played on the same team as her. And it was so bad. I had this one memory of her yelling at me because I dribbled the wrong way. Like, I'm just not, and I love basketball, but I'm just not athletic at all.
But the thing is, you're tall, so I'm sure everybody just assumed you would be amazing at basketball, right? That's annoying.
Right. I mean, in college too, the amount of phone calls and letters that I got from the coach of the crew team, and I'm like, are you guys not actually looking at athletic ability? Are you not looking at all the stats? You're only seeing my height. Somehow they get a list of like height, and like every year, even my senior year, I'm like, why would you recruit a senior? I'm on my way out, but yeah, it's because I am so tall. But anyway.
Well, I'm not necessarily athletic, but what I lack in skill, I make up for with enthusiasm. I enjoy just the spirit of playing the game and, trying to win and giving your whole heart and soul. It's like really ridiculous because I cannot execute the amazing athletic, whatever you need to be good, but I'm all in about playing that game. It's so funny. I'm ridiculous.
I guess I'm somewhere in the middle because if I go to the beach, I want to be in the water, but I could just tread water for 4 hours and be absolutely happy.
I could float in the water, like, on a floaty. That'd be great. I mean, not in the ocean.
My body is a floaty.
I'd be in Wisconsin. Be like, help. How'd I get here? So anyway, if you guys remember a few weeks back, I mentioned that I had made a list of things that I wanted to be true in my life. And I didn't share the whole list. A lot of it's really personal. But one of the things was my health. And you guys know that I have a history of cancer, and I have struggled with my weight my whole life. And it's not even about that. It's just, I don't feel strong. I feel weak. And so that's one of the things I put is that I want to be stronger. And that just doesn't happen without doing something, right? So I started a program this week, and after the fact, I talked to the girls, the ladies here, the day after my first workout, and as I'm doing, I'm like, oh, this is easy. Like, this is nothing. And then like the next day, I was toast. I couldn't climb stairs. Like it was bad. And so then it's a break off on that day. And then the next day, another workout. So the next day, the workout was just as hard, but it didn't hurt as bad. And then, yeah. So anyway, I'm proud of myself. I'm a little sore today in the shoulders and arms area from yesterday's workout, but I'm doing it. And I know that doesn't seem like it has anything to do with writing. It doesn't have, our WhatsApps don't have to have anything to do with writing, but I feel like it does, because I feel like I'm doing the things on my list, which there are things about writing. And I feel like I've got to get some things in order in my life to be able to get back to where I want to be in other areas, including my writing. So that's my what's up.
It's so funny because emotional pain just makes me really super angry. But when I have post-workout pain, I'm like, yes, like I can very much no pain, no gain myself into loving the post-workout pain. So I don't know why I can't do that with the emotional stuff. Like I get mad about the emotional stuff.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Because
if it's no pain, no gain in the physical body, it's very obviously the same in the mental realm, spiritual realm, whatever.
Dr. John Deloney, I just can't stop watching that show. It's on YouTube if you've not seen him. He's a counselor. He talks a lot about the balance of like mental health and your physical health. And so you all know my journey the past several years in all the loss that I've endured. Jamie's lost a lot too. And I can't change that. Right. And so, but what I can do is change how I am right now. So, okay. Purpose Behind the Pen says, my what's up is I am a little under the weather. Prepping for a trip, which will be for a whole month. Ooh. And book 20 is in final countdown mode, still free writing as well. That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
It's a final countdown. Let's see.
Oh my goodness.
Jason says, prepping for my last few classes to start at the end of the month. By Christmas, I will be finished with all of my pastor classes and be up for ordination in the spring.
Wow, that's so exciting.
So exciting,
That is
Jason.
exciting. I remember those days when my husband was there. getting ready to be ordained.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We were out in the foyer of the church where like we had to stay out in the foyer when everyone else was inside the sanctuary seated, and we had to wait for them to like start playing this one certain song that they play to walk down, and my husband and his buddy were making too much noise. The assistant DS district superintendent had to come out and tell them to be quiet.
That's awesome.
Shenanigans. Like it's not just on the podcast.
Right. It's hereditary, right? Or I guess that wouldn't be hereditary. That'd be a whole
It's just a part of who we are.
Yeah. All right. So today we're talking about a progress check-in for writers. Now, I was the one that suggested this episode for a couple of reasons. And to be completely transparent is because it didn't take a whole lot of planning. We didn't have to get ourselves. We just knew we're going to talk about our progress. We have a little bit of a outline here, but also because next week is our 300th episode. And for those of you that don't know, we are making some changes here. I think you're all going to love the changes. We are ready for them. We are excited about them. But yes, there are some changes coming. So we can't really make changes without looking back and saying, okay, well, where have we been? And we're going to talk about that next week. But for this week, we're going to talk about where are we right now as a writer and with our writing career. So when we do this, we don't want to say, okay, well, this is what I've got. No, we're going to, first of all, we're going to start. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to celebrate our wins. We're going to start there. So I want everyone to think about not just the three of us, but look back at what you've accomplished, even if it's small, this year. So ladies, can any of you think of something this year that has been a win for you? For example, you finished a draft, or you learned a new skill, you fixed your website, you wrote one really good newsletter, like something. Like I don't care if it was the only one you did all year. Like some we're looking for at least a little win. Could be big wins too. So if you're in the chat, drop your win in there for us. But what about you ladies? What's a win you had this year?
My website. Oh, go ahead, Tina.
No, go ahead.
My website SSL certificate is active, and people can go to my website without it being.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Jennifer's face.
Because mine still isn't.
I know, but the fact that you've got to admit, that's an accomplishment.
It is a huge accomplishment. How did you do it?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But
it's so hard for me.
It's so funny because I did try to go to J.R. Nichols online, and that gave me the oh no boo-boo error. So I don't know what's going on there. I thought one and done, but I guess not. But anyway, that is a very small win. I don't know how many small wins we're supposed to come up with. I just grasped that one because it was easy. So take it away, Tina, if you like.
Well, I finished with the revision process with the book coach. So I didn't finish the revision. I finished going through the revision process with the book coach, which and Elise, who's often on here listening, and it was really helpful. And I feel like this kind of, in the Bible it says you look into a mirror dimly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like that's what the revision process was for me. Like it was kind of dark and shadowy and foggy, and I couldn't see it clearly. And so because I couldn't see it clearly, because I'm a number one learner, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to end. I didn't know anything. I just was like, this is my third book, and it's still just as hard. Like, because I still don't know what I'm doing. And just going through that process with her was so eye-opening, and I learned so much.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's going to carry forward for me through whatever I do next.
Yeah. That was a really great episode too. The couple episodes that we had about that, and then with Elise, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say, so I had feel like a lot of little wins, but the biggest one I'm thinking of is that I got this
in the
paperback.
If you didn't say it, I was gonna say that cover. Man,
yeah, the cover. Yeah, I love I love all my covers. I feel like every one of them gets better if you like put them next to each other. Like the first one, I liked it. The second one, I'm like, oh, that's really good. The third one, I'm like, oh, I love the third one. Like I really love the third one. Like there's no way the fourth one's gonna be better. And I'm like, oh, I love the fourth one. So,
Jen, that sentiment, can we put a pin in it for later in the episode? I'm gonna circle back and talk about that, just so you know. Sure. Okay, go ahead.
Great, love it. So yeah, so I at least am moving forward with something. The writing is still kind of happening. I'm working on some outlining. I'm doing a lot of thinking about my Widows of the West series, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about Marnie's story. And I'm just wondering, like, maybe the reason why I want to write that, so that maybe I should just write a contemporary and see where that goes too. So I am writing. I'm not like I was when I had actual office hours and stuff, but I've also been holding down a couple of part-time jobs and homeschooling. And back when I was like super dedicated to my writing, I wasn't even homeschooling or having a job. So
but Jen, I think you're really minimizing. When you publish this book, you will have completed a series. Like that's really huge. I think you're completely minimizing your wins, honestly.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I appreciate I don't mean to minimize it. I just mean that like there's so much more I want to be doing. But again, I see here I am getting negative. This is like wins. Win. I got the cover done. I got the book
that's what I mean. Yes.
And I it will be published before the end of the year.
So. Yeah, that's great. That's so exciting. Good for you.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to share here before? Oh, let me.
I would like to share Piper Dow's comment for you.
This one here?
No.
Oh, well, let's share this one. She said, I finished the book I've been working on for 2 years. It publishes Monday.
Yay!
That's awesome, Piper! Yay!
That's so exciting.
I have had the privilege of reading that book, and it is good. You guys want to read it.
Yay.
Oh, wonderful.
Really good. This is the other one you said. Jen, you've been writing a contemporary for years via sprints, and you're great at it. Thank you. I know. I think but part of me is kind of like, if I write it, then like I'm done sprinting it. Like it's kind of fun to like just see what happens with Marnie and Mr. Boss, but we'll see. And I love that he's still Mr. Boss. That's Jamie. That's from Jamie. Because I was like, I haven't named him yet. She's like, you shouldn't name him. He should just be Mr. Boss. I'm like, oh, maybe that's it. So, Catherine Carroll's win is, she says, I've made progress on my book despite dealing with a health issue for the last 4 months. That's awesome.
Huge win. Good job, good Catherine. For you. Good for you. Celebrate that.
Because I usually just stop everything. When
it's hard to power through a health issue and get anything done. It really is.
Jason says finished hand drawing the map for book 1. That's awesome,
that's
Jason.
Fun.
I love that. That's fun, and it's very important for your genre. So that's really great. All right, that's awesome. So here's a suggestion for those of you that are like me and don't really focus on the little wins like you should. Maybe start a journal of just the little wins. So when then you get like down, like, oh, I'm not getting anything done, you open it up and you look at all the things that you've accomplished this year. So maybe you're not getting the big things done. Maybe you're not like publishing every 3 months, or maybe you're not like all these like things you want to be doing, but you're doing stuff for your career. So that might be a suggestion for you.
I promise celebrating your wins won't turn you into a narcissist.
And if you don't like journaling, you could build a pillar. And it doesn't have to be like a pillar outside in your yard, huge. But like Abraham, when he was traveling through the desert, every time he had a win from God, he built an altar.
I love that idea.
And so then when they would circle back around and come to the same place and see the altar, it would remind them.
Yeah, or you could plant a tree or a bush.
Or you could just get a bunch of little flat stones and literally build a little pillar and put it on the bookshelf.
I love that. Wow, Tina, what a great idea.
Yeah, that is a really great idea. All right, so we've celebrated some small wins. The next thing we want to do is we want to review our original goals. Now, whether you are the person that writes down your goals at the beginning of the year and you have a checklist and a timeline, or you're just somebody that wakes up one morning and is like, I think I want to write a book this year. Either way, I guarantee you had some sort of goals for this year, for the last few months. I'm not somebody who thinks you have to start your goals in January. So you could have just had a goal last month and started it. So let's talk about that. What are so some common writing goals, first of all, like you wanted to finish a draft, you wanted to start a draft, you want to get your book published, get your book cover done, like me. What are some of your the goals that you had for this year, ladies?
Well, I wanted to finish book 3 and get it out to the editor so that I could publish it.
Okay.
That was my writing goal for the year. I don't use, like, I have a gamified like goal setting thing that I use. It's like a domino thing. So I actually have like these little pieces of paper. I wish I could get to it. My office is such a mess. But I actually have little dominoes that I have printed out and wrote like, this is the first thing I need to get done in my process. And when that domino falls because it's done, it hits the next domino. Right. And so then you do that. So then, because I don't do well with time bound goals. I don't know why. When I miss deadlines, I don't care. That's probably why. I just don't, it doesn't faze me at all. I'm not a person who feels bad because I didn't make my own deadline that I gave myself. So it doesn't really work to make a time, but to say I have to get this done so that I can knock down the next domino really helps me. So those were my dominoes. Get the revision done, get it edited and revised again, get it published.
I forgot to say this before we started with this section, was that when you're thinking about your goals, you can also be thinking like, is this a goal I want to keep? Is this a goal I want to tweak? Or if this is a goal I just want to release? So Tina, with that goal, that was one of your goals. Is that one that you need to keep, meaning you're still working on it? One that you need to tweak, meaning that you need to adjust it for a realistic goal? Or is it one that you can just let go of?
Well, I think all my dominoes are realistic. My problem was thinking that I had a time in mind that I was going to get it done. And I ended up in the hospital.
Right.
And it was right after I got done with all this work I'd done with my book coach, and I was ready to just dig in and get the writing done. I ended up in the hospital for a month with a serious gut infection. And like, this is going to like get off into like the weeds a little bit, but I was on high powered antibiotics for 3 weeks. For that entire month I was in the hospital, plus 3 more weeks after I got home. Like, I still had a midline in my arm, and I was giving myself IV antibiotics twice a day for 3 weeks after I got home. So my gut microbiome was dead. And if you know anything about the gut microbiome, you know, like, it affects everything. It affected my ability to think. Like, I have zero strength, I feel like, compared to what I used to have. My body is weak. My mind is foggy. I'm tired, but I can't sleep. Like, there's all these issues, and I need to rebuild my gut back up. Like, I can't hardly eat a vegetable without pain. I can't take my diabetes medication without pain. So my gut is a mess. It just needs to be rebuilt. And so I had to put that domino in front of get the revision process done.
Right. So you tweaked it, right? So that's where you're at, is you're tweaking it. Right.
Yeah.
So you're not giving up the goal. It's still going to be your goal, but you're going to tweak it. And I think that's
right. And it's going to take me longer than I had originally imagined.
Right. That makes total sense. Absolutely. My goal was to get my book published. That was really the only, and I wanted to write a book this year. So I'm at the keep point with getting the book published. That's still happening. I'm still on track for that. The tweak, I'm not willing to let go of writing this book. So I just need to tweak it and not worry about getting it done by the end of the year. Again, if you've watched this episode or this podcast for a while, you'll know that I've decided that in my next series, I'm going to plot the whole thing out, and I'm going to start with the last book, I believe. So that means that the 2 books I've been really working on, they're going to kind of be put on the back burner, which is hard because I feel like I'm in the middle of their story. Like, even today I sprinted in one of them just because that's where I'm at in my head. Right. But I think that it'll be better if I do that. So again, tweaking that part of it. But yeah.
So is your tweak just to maybe only outline by the end of the year? Like, what is the new goal? Like,
because of the book release, and the other thing, which I kind of was going to talk about during roadblocks here. But yeah, I'm just gonna say yes to that, and then when we get to roadblocks, we'll talk about
like
that.
You'll just outline, like that's your new goal.
I'm gonna release a book and outline the entire series by the end of the year. Is my plan. So
okay, so bringing a bizarre perspective to the game, which seems to be my forte.
That's why
I have. I do feel bad if I don't accomplish a goal that I set, which I think has been really my entire roadblock, because I cannot think of a goal that I'm confident I will achieve. So I can't decide what to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to tell myself I'm going to do something and not do it. So I don't tell myself I'm going to do anything.
So let's take the word goal out of the conversation. Right? Yeah, but let's take the word goal out. What do you hope to do, Jamie? What do you want to do as a writer? Is there anything you want that you wish?
No. Okay. No, I mean, like, what I want is for writing to pay all of my bills magically without me having to write anything. That's what I want.
Yes, sister. So,
yeah, right. So
from your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what I want. And I do know that is not what happens. We talked about this before. If you want to eat peaches, you have to plant that pit in the ground and water it, nurture it, and wait for fruit, right? And it's like, but really, it's just a matter of like, which of the many things that I could do I want to make the thing that I do?
Right.
So I guess my goal is to discover a goal. And it's not really time bound, because even that feels like making a promise I'm not sure I'll be able to keep.
Yeah. I want to challenge you a little bit, just because I'm your friend and I'm on the outside looking in. You did something very brave recently, and you started going to a writing group full of people that you do not know.
Yeah.
And if you did not have writing goals somewhere in your heart, you wouldn't do that. Like, right? Like, so there's a part of you that wants to be a writer, and that's okay if that's your only goal. That's okay to be your goal. And I think
I don't want to be a writer if it's not going to be paying my bills. I don't care about it. Like, I don't write for fun. I don't write for, the only thing that I can say is, what a shame if I don't ever publish my drafts, because I feel like I do like some of what I have backlogged, and it would be kind of a shame if it doesn't ever see the light of day. Yeah. Kind of a shame for other people to not get to enjoy what I've enjoyed. But that's about as strong as any feeling gets. Not strong enough to be like, therefore, I'm going to commit to finishing this draft and publishing this book. And it's mostly because I'm not sure I can or will.
And it freezes you at the thought of, I make a goal, I can't meet it, and then you're going to beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it reminds me of my perfectionism when it comes to housework. Like, my mother was like a perfectionist when it came to the house being clean, and I think that mindset is like beat into me, and so I just don't do it, because I know I can't reach the perfection that I desire, and so it's really hard to make myself do it.
Right. I know that God is the great economist. He's not going to give me the ability to play basketball if I am never meant to do that, if that makes sense. That's why he didn't give me the ability to play basketball.
Good circle back, Jen. Good circle back.
Raimi.
I guess I could say that I have a goal of not giving up.
Okay. I love that. And because God has given you such a talent in writing, there's a purpose for it. So maybe the goal is to figure out, what is your purpose? Maybe that's it. Maybe it isn't like to fit into the pattern of what I'm doing or what Tina's doing or what this writer over here is doing or whatever. And maybe you aren't going to make money in it. I don't know. I can't imagine that as talented as you are, that you aren't. But maybe like there's another purpose. And if you find that purpose, then you'll find joy in it again. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not giving up. I do really appreciate writer community, right? And so that serves me on a different level. Yeah. And so you know,
and you also have this strength of it's like a superpower of being able to help other writers. Like I know that you've helped me immensely just through the time that you helped me revise my first book, the conversations that we've had where I've had issues and you've seen solutions. Like I don't know, maybe you can make money that way. Just throwing it out there.
All right, we are never going to get through this outline, except I do want to talk one more thing about the roadblocks. So we talked about our little wins. We talked about what our original goals were. I think that if we take just a few minutes to talk about what are some of the roadblocks. So Jamie, you kind of shared your roadblocks. So I appreciate you being honest, because I guarantee you there are listeners out there. There are people watching this that are like, oh my gosh, that's me. They don't feel like they're alone on the island. And I appreciate you being honest like that. So Tina, you also talked about your roadblocks, obviously.
My health, yeah.
Your health. So for me, I feel like I'm my biggest roadblock, but I also have started to almost start getting anxious because of the time of year that is approaching. And I have to say it out loud and I have to acknowledge it. For those of you that are new here, we used to joke and call it the nano curse, the NaNoWriMo curse. Something would happen to me or one of my members of my family every single year. And I'm not even being like, I'm not saying this lightly. Like we're talking about major deaths in the family. Cancer. I had cancer. The very first NaNoWriMo that I met the ladies in it derailed my whole plan. And
which is November for people who have no concept.
Yes. So like October, November, December, when I look back, and it was Jamie that pointed this out, it's like I start to freeze up even when there's not anything major happening or before the major thing happens, I start to freeze up. And psychologically, like I do believe it's my body protecting itself. My body's like, we've been here before. We're about to go through something, and it starts to protect itself. Right. So I think that, and then it takes me a while to like get back from that, And so, but I think I'm hoping that acknowledging it and looking at it, because it doesn't just affect my writing. It affects the way I eat. Like I go off the deep end, literally, when it comes to food and health and everything this time of year, every year since this has been going down. So again, I have my list of things that I want to be true. I'm walking daily with the Lord to help me through this. And so, yeah. So, and I also, like Jamie, I do beat myself up when I don't meet a goal, but the way I do it is I just kind of like, I don't do anything. I kind of like get into my shell, and that's why things don't get done. So, I don't really go ahead.
I just feel like there's this tendency to have personal accountability for our failures. And we don't ever want to be the person who blames others or makes excuses. But I really appreciate you acknowledging that what you've been through is impacting you, because it's a lot. And I feel like you're inclined to be like, oh, but really, it's just because I'm a very bad girl. And it's not. Like, you literally, like it's true that the events that have happened to you have like shipwrecking capability. And for you to kind of, I understand you don't want to be like, oh, life has just, kept me from achieving. Like, you don't want to be that person. I get it. But I do appreciate that you're acknowledging there is really an impact of these these things that have happened. So I want to encourage you to recognize that it's not just some kind of personal failing on your part that you haven't done X, Y, or Z. Like you've had a lot of curveballs.
Yes.
Minimal. That's a minimized way to say it, honestly.
Yes. I thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope that no one reads or hears this as me minimizing it. It's me acknowledging it.
Yes.
Well, it's a trauma response.
Yeah.
And I think that Catherine Carroll would be really great at explaining how to build new neural pathways to overcome the trauma response that you have. And because I had something similar in my life, and that's just too long of a story and we don't have time, but
yeah. All right, ladies. Well, so moving forward now, next week, again, like we said before, is our 300th episode. We are going to look back, but not just at our writing course. We're going to look back at the life of this podcast, and we're going to be looking forward and talking about how some things are going to change a little bit, how some things are going to stay the same, our goals for the podcast, and what we hope to do with this community. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. You're going to see even some, like, it's just going to look different too. That's all I'm going to say. So we're very excited about our 300th episode. Hopefully there will be lots of laughs as well. So definitely stay tuned for that next week. Okay. So our favorite part of the episode, it's the feeding of the bags. And this is where we get to share what we've written. Now, for those of you that are new, we get a sprint prompt. We sit down for 15 minutes, we write, and then we just read it. So we're going to start here. Tina, I'm going to have you start.
Okay. So we had 5 words, and those words were lantern, whisper, cactus, marble, and orbit. So I got 3 of the words, I believe. I got to make this a little bigger. My bifocals are not working.
Oh, uh-oh. That's
the
not
hissing
great.
From the lantern was like a whisper in the dark. I could imagine some dark creature just outside the window watching me as I lay in my bed. Maybe the total dark would be better. But I immediately dismissed the thought. Much better to see what was coming than to quiet the whispers. I rolled away from the window, but the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, imagining some unseen thing in the night. I turned back toward the window, unable to close my eyes, unable to stop the trembling jello of anxiety filling my gut. Please don't need the outhouse, I pled to a God I hoped truly existed. And if he existed, would deign to hear the cry of a hopeless failure like me. And if he heard, would choose to have mercy and grant my request despite my undeservedness. But there either was no God, he couldn't be bothered to listen to such as me, or he had decided I was unworthy. And the trembling traveled down into my lower gut until it became clear I could no longer deny my need. I got to my feet, hurrying now because of the demands of my gut, grabbing the lantern and only hesitating a moment before crossing the threshold into the night. The outhouse was only 50 steps away. I began to count, trying to keep my eyes on the ground ahead of me, but the thoughts in my mind plagued me. There's something out there. I began to look around, and that's when I saw it, the silhouette of a man just beyond the outhouse. I cried out before I could stop myself and ran back to the house, chastising myself that now I needed to change. Use whatever little water, don't make me laugh, was in the bucket beside the wood stove to wash, and pray there was no further need for the privy until morning. I had zero faith of any such prayer being answered. The next morning dawned bright and garish, the sun beating down on the desert as it tended to do every day. The smell of my soiled clothes turned my stomach, and I picked them up, heading outside to put them in the wash barrel. I looked up toward the outhouse, shaking my head at my stupidity, as the cactus just beyond stood with arms outstretched as if welcoming me into its embrace. You're making me laugh.
You're making me laugh.
Sorry. I promised myself to not believe my fearful thoughts tonight and sleep in peace. But the emptiness of the land that surrounded me mocked me. I made way over to the pile of rocks that marked Josiah's grave and fell down on my knees. Why have you abandoned me here alone in this unforgiving place? I asked, tears pouring down my cheeks. But as usual, there was no answer from him or from God.
Ah, Tina, you went from making me laugh to making me cry. Stop it. Oh, very well done.
Like, I wasn't planning on it being funny. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I think it's both. I think it's very emotionally charged. Like Piper said, so funny but sad at the end, wrecking me.
Yeah.
Like if the goal of the artist writer is to make someone feel something, mission accomplished.
Right. Thanks. And the fact that you wrote about somebody soiling themselves and I laughed at it might say much more about me than about your intent as a writer. My junior high sense of humor, but that was really well done, Tina. I really appreciate that. All right, Jamie, why don't you go next and tell us what you wrote?
Yeah, I think, quote unquote, sadly, I focused too much on just getting the words in there, but I mean, I don't know, I had to have some kind of goal.
That's fine too.
Also, sadly, I had a timer set for another purpose and a timer set for my writing. So I stopped at the first timer. So I don't know. It was maybe 10 minutes short. I don't even know. So this is short, but here we go.
Okay.
Don't wake the baby, she whispered and gestured for me to follow her from the room. She closed the door with the least amount of possible noise and then held her breath for a moment with her ear pressed to it before exhaling in a tremendous sigh and padding down the carpeted hallway. I trailed after her, amused by the pep in her ankle sock-clad step. She sure did love her grandson, but she loved our chats over coffee almost equally well, I was sure. Took him forever to go down today. I thought I'd tired him out with the marble run and the dancing cactus, but I guess not. Probably overstimulated, I suggested, stirring flavored creamer into my cup. Tanya doesn't like that I do the marble run with him, says it's a choking hazard, but it's not like I'm handing Bradley the marbles. I promised her as soon as he starts accurately reaching for things, I'll put it up and I won't bring it down again till he's much older. Great compromise. Hope you like watercress. She plopped a tray of crustless triangle-cut white bread sandwiches on the table. If not, there's some with the usual ham mixed in. Oh, and Tanya left a jug each of lemonade and sweet tea for us. Want me to fix you an Arnold Palmer? I replied in the affirmative, placing one of each variety of triangle onto my plate. Anyway, when nap time came, Bradley would come this close to drifting off, but then some noise would happen outside or my phone would make a ping and he'd go off into orbit. That reminds me, I need to take my phone off silent. Oh no, did I leave it in the baby's room? She went off in search of it and I sampled the sandwiches. It had been ages since I'd had watercress and I was pleased to discover that I do indeed still like it. I finished both my sandwiches before I became mildly alarmed that I was still alone at the table. I couldn't very well call out and wake the baby, so I crept down the hallway and peered into the darkened room. And then time was up and I was like, that felt really short, but it was really short. But anyway, I was dutiful and I ended it. So that's all you get.
Plus, we don't know what was in the darkened room, Jamie.
I'm imagining her asleep because she's sleep deprived because she has a baby.
That is hilarious. That is great. That is a great potential ending. I knew it was a sprint. That would have been a really good way to get me out of it because honestly, I wanted to launch into like something devastating on the phone that she discovered. And that's why she was like, whatever. It would have been way too long for a sprint. But anyway, it was a fun exercise.
I like Tina's too because I've listened to enough of your writing that I was like, no, something bad's about to go down. And I was like,
Tina's ending would be much better.
Yeah.
And especially if she was like in the crib with the baby, like, shh.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Wonderful.
Or if she was like in the chair and the phone on her face.
Yeah.
I can tell you how many times I've been reading at night in bed and I dropped my phone on my face.
Piper says, I was anticipating a boogeyman in the closet. Yeah, me too.
My reputation precedes me, I see. Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, I'll finish it up with mine. And I am in the Wilderness of the West. I already told you guys that, but okay. The lantern cast a creamy glow over the front porch. illuminating the rocking chair in which Colleen sat. Its flame created a flickering orbit of light around her, its edges slowly fading into the darkness beyond. While it gave her the ability to see clearly all that was near, it took away the ability to see very far beyond its amber reach. The sun had set long ago, so there wasn't much need to look past the porch at the things she already knew to be there. The outbuildings, the landscape that surrounded her small ranch, the animals she could hear in the distance softly settling in for the night, and him. She felt his presence long before she could see any sign of him. Oh, she probably heard his slow, confident amble quietly approaching, but her sense of hearing seemed a far weaker trait than the pull of something deeper, something she couldn't explain within her. She just knew. Something whispered, "He's near." So when a shadowy figure appeared on the far edges of her lantern circle, she wasn't startled, though the racing of her heart seemed to argue otherwise. Why did her heart do such strange things in the presence of this man? And then he entered the glow of the lantern, and all of her other senses caught up with her heart. She knew why. Oh, she knew. "Good evening," he said, his deep voice gently rasped. "Mind if I sit with you for a spell?" 3, 2, 1.
No, it's too soon.
It was also very short, but I crafted that first couple of paragraphs. So it took me longer. So anyway.
Yeah, the lantern light, you could tell you spent some time there, because when you got to the word amber, it really finished off a very nice descriptive passage about her sitting in that light and exactly what that would be like. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good work.
I like the way that you described him coming, like slowly. Like I could feel the butterflies, of the anticipation.
Thanks.
Like I remember those days when
you don't still have those days when you hear
him was an excitement and not an annoyance.
I'm guessing your husband doesn't watch the podcast.
I hope not. I don't know. Ever since I lost all my estrogen, I'm just so annoyed with everything.
She lost it. Poker game in Vegas.
There's this comedian that talks about the estrogen makes us want to nurture people. And she talks about how it slowly goes down and like the attitude changes, and she goes, "Why am I doing all the work?" and then like a little bit more, and she's like, "Get away from me."
Oh gosh.
The joys of menopause.
Yep. All right, ladies. It's time for us to wrap this up with our what's next. Jamie, what's next with you?
Well, I have to evaluate everything going on, but I may be able to make it out to writing group tonight. So fingers crossed that happens.
Awesome. What about you, Tina?
Well, I am asking for prayer because it's kind of a long story, but my son, my youngest of my oldest children's son, is a pagan. Like he's a self-professed Celtic pagan. His mother-in-law died, and they called my husband to do the funeral because the funeral home was going to give them a pastor as part of the package. And my son was like, well, instead of someone we don't know, let's get my dad. So I got my 3 boys who are not serving the Lord anymore, and they're all going to be at this funeral. And it's tomorrow morning at 11, and my husband is preaching it.
Definitely be in prayer for that.
Yeah. And my son's wife too. Like, because I feel like where his wife goes, he'll go. But
that's how I feel about my stepson, my oldest stepson.
Yeah. So, like, if you could just join me in prayer that the Spirit would do some major work somehow during this funeral tomorrow.
Definitely praying for that. All right, my what's next is I'm going to corner Jamie. We're going to figure out why my SSL isn't working. I'm going to find somebody. I'm going to get this darn SSL fixed on my website.
I keep telling you I'd help you.
Okay. What do you think?
Trina, you need to do like my work does and schedule a Teams meeting where Jen and I attend, and we are the mandatory attendees, and you record it for training purposes, and then we can look back at it every year.
Exactly.
Loop me in if you can, or record it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. And again, next week's going to be a big one, so make sure you stay tuned. So until next time, may your pen be prolific and may your deadlines be met. May all of your words honor Christ. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.